going to divide fractions and mixed numbers today. And we've kind of already hit on this and discovered what the steps are, but take a moment to look over what these steps are. We're going to first write all the numbers in fraction form. Then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. And we can remember how to do that by remembering the phrase copy dot flop. We copy the first fraction, we change the division to multiplication, and then we flip the second fraction. And that's what it means, multiply by the reciprocal. Remember, when we flip the second fraction, that is the reciprocal of what the fraction originally was. Step 3 is to cross simplify if we can. Step 4, multiply straight across. And step 5, reduce. Now if you remember, everything that's up there in blue, those are already the steps that we've used for multiplying. So really the only thing that's truly new is this section right here. And that's the only thing that separates division from multiplication. But that's a huge step because we are multiplying by the reciprocal. So when we change that division to multiplication, we have to do the reciprocal of the second fraction to compensate for that. The two kind of cancel each other out, so that's why the multiplication works. So let's look at an example. 4 3/4 divided by 5/8. Step 1 is to change everything to fraction form. So we're going to get 19/4 divided by 5/8. Step 2 is to change this to a multiplication by the reciprocal. So step 2, we're going to rewrite this as 19/4 times 8/5. Now I will tell you, a really common mistake people make is they try to go straight from this original problem to this, and that's really, really hard to do because sometimes you're going to accidentally forget to multiply by the reciprocal. You're just going to leave it as it was. You're going to remember to change it to multiplication, but forget to change to the reciprocal. So that's a really common mistake, and the best way to avoid doing that is to first rewrite the problem as a division with everything in fraction form. Then rewrite it as multiplication using the reciprocal, and you won't be so apt to make that mistake. And the cross simplifying, remember, that's really an optional step, but it helps a whole lot in not having your numbers be so big that you're multiplying by. I can divide both 4 and 8 by 2, and when I do that, I'm going to, or by 4 rather, actually. So when I divide those both by 4, I could divide them by 2, but I can also divide them by 4, and I probably want to divide them by the biggest number I can because that's going to help me the most. 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2. Rewrite the problem as 19/1 times 2/5. That's going to give us 38/5. 38/5 is a proper fraction, or an improper fraction rather, and improper fractions need to get changed to mixed numbers, then simplified if we can. 5 goes into 38 7 whole times with 3 left over, so that's 7 3/5. 3/5 cannot be simplified. So there is my quotient, 7 3/5. 4 3/4 divided by 5/8 is 7 3/5. So our next problem is 3/4 divided by 9. We're going to write this as 3/4 divided by 9/1. Then we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to keep the 3/4, we're going to copy that, and then multiply by the reciprocal of 9/1, which is 1/9. This one we can cross simplify. 3 and 9 can both be divided by 3. And so 3 divided by 3 is 1, 9 divided by 3 is 3. And that's going to give us 1/4 times 1/3, which is 1/12. So 3/4 divided by 9 is 1/12. And that should kind of make sense. If I have the fraction 3/4 and I cut it into 9 pieces, I definitely am going to get a proper fraction for that, and I'm definitely going to get a proper fraction less than 3/4. All right, let's try a couple more. Try these two on your own, and then when you're done, hit play and see if you've done them correctly. So hit pause now, and then when you're done, go ahead and hit play. All right, so 3 1/4 divided by 2 3/4. We should get 13/4 divided by 11/4. Which is going to give us 13/4 times 4/11. We can cross simplify, the easiest thing in the world. I love when I have a numerator and a denominator that are the same because I can make them both ones. 4 divided by 4, both of those are going to become ones, giving me a new problem of 13/1 times 1/11, which is 13/11. That's an improper fraction, so I'm going to make it a mixed number. 1 and 2/11. 11 goes into 13 one whole time with 2 left over. I get 1 and 2/11. 2/11 cannot be simplified, so I am done. And then on the last one, 2 and 2/5 divided by 1 and 3/7, I am going to get 12/5 divided by 10/7. Now, this is a problem where you may have been tempted to cross-simplify the 5 and the 10. I hope you didn't, because you cannot cross-simplify right there. That is a division problem. Division problems cannot be cross-simplified. Multiplication problems can. So we have to actually write this as multiplication by the reciprocal. So 12/5 multiplied by the reciprocal of 10/7. The reciprocal of 10/7 is 7/10. Then I can still cross-simplify, but notice it's not going to be the 10 and the 5 because they're both denominators. 12 and 10 can both be divided by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And I can rewrite this as 6/5 times 7/5, which gives me 42/25, which is an improper fraction. 25 goes into 42 one whole time with 17 left over. 17/25. And 17/25 is in lowest terms, so I am done. 2 and 2/5 divided by 1 and 3/7 is 1 and 17/25. Great job.